Hi Aquarius, my name is Audrey Alison. Thanks for joining me for your September 2015 forecast for the month. I am using my alchemical deck again, and I know I had bought some new decks from New Orleans, but I was really drawn to this deck again for this forecast, and when I'm feeling something, I just have to go with that. So I'm going to use this for the forecast, for the readings, and I just wanted to take a minute to thank you for subscribing and liking and sharing these videos. Your support means a lot to me, and if you haven't already liked and subscribed, I really would love it. And thank you for liking my Facebook page, Audrey Alison Astrology and Tarot. Let's start at the top of the month. This is a lot of energy in this month, and some of it is not as smooth as I would love to just say it is, and I feel like the last several months have been relatively smooth in astrological forecasts, but this September, although it's a smaller month, it's packed with a lot of power. Now Venus goes direct on the 6th of September. She still remains in Leo at 14 degrees through October 8th. So this is still in your polar opposite sign through the 8th of October in the 7th house of relationships, marriages, business partnerships. Venus bringing love and smoothing over this area. Some of you Aquarians have actually established relationship in this time if you wanted it. And Venus now direct can really do what she does best and beautify, bring in loving emotional energy. She's also money, so there's money for business partnerships or money for the relationship. We like her direct. On the 13th of September, we have our first eclipse of the month. This is the new moon partial solar eclipse at 20 degrees of Virgo in the house next to the 7th, which is the 8th house. So, new moon is new energy, but eclipse energy is the removing of a veil. Really, a portal is an eclipse. It's allowing you to open up and see specifically something in this area, the 8th house. And there could be some readjustments here because eclipse energy can pick you up and put you in a new situation, and eclipse energy lingers. So this can not just happen on that day. Over the next several months, this is what this new energy wants to bring in and accumulate for you in the 8th house of intimacy, the 8th house of settlements, property and inheritance and will, the 8th house of death, and intimacy. I said that already. But I'm really feeling, with it being a new moon, there can be new information coming in regarding settlements at this time. And for those of you who have been waiting, Jupiter is conjunct this new moon, and this is very expansive energy and lucky energy. So this can be the catalyst, the eclipse can be the catalyst to get the ball rolling in the right direction for those of you with pending settlement issues, pending negotiations in that area, and waiting on hearing about inheritances and what's coming to you can also occur with an eclipse here. On the 17th, there's a lot of energy happening. It's the day that Mercury retrogrades at 15 degrees of Libra in the 9th house of legalities, study, travel, long-distance travel, higher education, and metaphysical areas, your philosophies, your way of thinking, your religion. So there's Mercury retrograde here through the 9th of October brings a little bit of a delay in how much information you're able to retain. It might be a more difficult time for students, higher education. Those of you needing to study, this retrograde can hinder you somewhat. It's also not at all a great time for foreign travel for you Aquarians from the 17th of September through the 9th of October, and even a few days before and after. Now, also on this day, Saturn is exiting Scorpio from 2.5 years stay there and entering Sagittarius. So this is regarding the 11th house for you. Saturn, a very restrictive, controlling planet in the 11th house of social activities and friendships and groups and clubs and organizations, is restrictive. You might not feel as social, and this is not a quick transit. This is a 2.5 year experience. But what Saturn can do here on the positive is focus you on your goals, the 11th house of goals and wishes, grounding you in the area that you really need to manifest. Because Saturn, as much as he is restriction, he wants the betterment of this focus, because he takes 27 to 30 years to make it around the wheel. So he'll leave this sector in December of 2017, having really established who your friends really are. And that can come with some uncomfortable energy when people are removed from the friendship sector. But this is also about adhering to the focus of your goals. And there's not a lot of playfulness with Saturn in the 11th house. So it's a time to decide what social activities are worth your time and what aren't. There's an opposition as well this day on the 17th between Jupiter in Virgo in the 8th house of shared resources, which is also where the eclipse hits, the shared resources sector, opposing Neptune in Pisces in the 2nd house of money. These money energies are in opposition on the 17th. The same day Mercury retrogrades, right after the eclipse in this 8th house energy. So I want you to watch your wallet and what you're spending money on the 2nd week of September, especially. I really don't feel like it's a great idea for big purchase items. And I actually would just watch the budget and check your bank statements and your account activity that day. Because I feel, and this is definitely an energy I'm picking up, but just the astrological definition, with Neptune, someone could be taking advantage of your money. Neptune is a very deceptive, nebulous, rose-colored glasses. You don't want to miss anything. You want to go over things with a fine-tooth comb financially on the 17th. The first thing I thought of psychically was that when people try to, take money out of your account because they claim it's for, you made a payment when you didn't, or what is the word I'm thinking of? Identity theft, the stealing of your whatever, monies, shared resources, someone from somewhere else, another country even, foreign, because Mercury's retrograde in that 9th house. You don't want to give your information to people on the internet. And trust me, no one's going to be contacting you from the government on a telephone. They're going to be sending you documents if it's legitimate, and I would definitely have them checked over. It just feels like that kind of nebulous energy where people will try to get resources from you, maybe through trickery, or maybe through something you're not paying attention to and you make a payment twice. It doesn't have to be as scandalous, but I feel like with Jupiter, this is a big thing. This could be a big concept. And with Neptune, it's just a little bit, deceptive, or someone's not being completely truthful. So watch your money over that 2nd week and even 3rd week. I want to even say all of September. There's a lot of tricky little eclipse energy happening here. So for you Aquarians, just listen to that if you'd like to, because I feel like that might apply to some of you as I was channeling a little bit in between that astrological definition. Now, the 23rd, the sun. Okay, something very positive. The sun, the warmth, travels into Libra in this 9th house where you have this Mercury retrograde. So just as much as it's not a great time to travel long distance, the sun is the life force, so your focus will be where the sun is. I don't recommend travel at all in September, long distance or period, because of the retrograde. But what could actually help you is, for those of you having difficulty with legal issues, the sun might be here to give a little bit of more success in that area that you're finding with Mercury retrograde there. But there's warmth in this sector. You might want to read about foreign cultures or study a new philosophy, but it might be like you read 3 pages, but then you have to go back and read 2 more because Mercury's like, did I really retain that information? It's hard to keep the details in your mind once Mercury's retrograde. So that can apply in very different ways, and please watch your ascendant sign, because for these transits, in particular, the 20-degree mark of Virgo, where the first solar eclipse is, that might not necessarily have anything to do with this solar forecast. I really want you to watch your rising sign for the degrees of the eclipse energy, because it's not the only eclipse we have this month. Now, Mars makes a transit into Virgo on the 24th of September in this 8th house where the new moon eclipse will be, the partial solar eclipse. So Mars' energy for intimacy, 8th house of sex. This is a very sexual or physical transit and placement. So you'll have a lot of physical drive and sexual energy from the 24th of September for about 50 days when Mars is in Virgo. And if it's not regarding that, which I really feel it might be, because Mars is stamina and heat and passion and energy, if it's not that particularly for you, the 8th house is wills, inheritance, shared resources, intimacy, and the 8th house of death. For those of you with ailing male family members, and I mean, ailing and older, you could see something happen there with Mars in the 8th house, although Mars being the men, representing the male. I don't really like to predict negative forecasts. That's not why I'm here. I'm just trying to be real with you. But my first gut was to say, wow, that's a lot of physical, sexual energy, and in the 8th house of intimacy. But it could apply very differently for other people. We end September with another eclipse on the 27th. So, before I say this, let me go back. Mars in the 8th can also be a lot of successful loans and people applying for help in the shared resources area, loans and fiscal development in the 8th. What are they saying? Stocks and where you put your money. I'm sorry that the terminology is escaping me, but I'm trying to hear and relay at the same time. Where investments, thank you, that's the term. Stocks, where you put your money, investments, that's a lot of stamina and that energy. But again, that's toward the latter of the month. Watch your money around the 17th mid-month, because that has that nebulous opposition energy. Okay, now on the 27th, the full moon total lunar eclipse is at 4 degrees of Aries. And this is the 3rd house of communications and clients, and the 3rd house of local travel, the car, the vehicle. And full moon is awareness and bringing in an ending. So there might be getting the car out of the picture, getting a new vehicle, but watch what you're spending for it and make sure you have all your interest rates aligned and the APR and the down payment and all of that fiscal energy. So this month is tricky, and I'm just being real with you. It's a tricky month for taking action, but there is that support with the action planet Mars in the 8th house towards the last 6 days of September, where you'll get some reprieve. I want to address the cards for you, Aquarius, and see what they have to say for September 2015. I've been getting the 2 of Swords a lot as an intro card and the 8 of Swords as an ending card, which has a lot to do with the retrograde, the thoughts and the mercurial energy. And feeling a little trapped. So we'll see if any of this applies for you. But if you'd like to book with me, I'm at audreyalison.com, and I read all through the week. Aquarius, here are your cards for September 2015. I got this one as well in the last. 6 of Cups, the nurturer. Expending and expelling equal energy, giving just as much as you're receiving, not more, not less. Nurturing the body, self-care. The Wheel of Fortune. Now this is a lucky card. This is about Jupiter. This could be that opposition. Jupiter is in your 8th house of shared resources. So, your fifth house is not hindered. This could be a nice little gambling card. I want you to watch your money, though. I'm not suggesting everyone place a bet. But if you're into that and you do that professionally, the luck can be with you because Jupiter still is in your eighth house of shared resources. So there can be expansion there and luck and all things optimistic. And just in general, taking Jupiter aside out of the equation, this is fate, transformation, and change. The Wheel of Fortune, and I'm also hearing the wheels. Now, normally that's interesting. When I get the Chariot card, I hear them talking a lot about the car. But the Wheel of Fortune, watch the wheels of the vehicle towards the end of the month. It might be time for new tires. It could be something as easy as that, or a new ride instead. Okay, the Five of Coins. This has everything to do with that watching your finances. Something you might feel like is missing. You're missing something. The opposition on the 17th between the second and eighth house, the nebulous Neptune energy and the expansive Jupiter energy. I want something, but if I spend for it, I'm missing it. Or I don't have enough money just yet to get it. Or I've missed something in my accounts. I want you to go over your activity in your bank statements. It couldn't hurt, but something is coming up with that. Queen of Fire, Mars, energy, action. The female that takes action. This is also representative of your polar opposite sign of Leo, the Leo female. For you, Aquarius. Could also mean Aries or Sagittarian female coming up in the cards. You have a second card, the King of Swords. This is you, baby boys and girls. King of Swords, male Aquarian energy. Could also be a Gemini and a Libra, but when I do the forecast and I get validation like this of this representing the client, this is you. So a lot of you Aquarians are meeting the soulmate energy of the Leo female, your polar opposite sign. This is a great love combo right here. And you do have a lot of luck around you. So make sure you nurture the body, nurture the self, take care of the self. Because to establish relationship, you have to prove your best self and present your best, healthiest physical self. If you're not taking care of you, you can't take care of anyone else. So you're number one. And then you're able to adhere to relationship. But also, this is the only money card, the coin card that you have, which I like, considering the energies of the financial, eclipse energy. But so you might feel that something is missing in your finances right now. I want you to let this month go without judging the finances too much due to the energy so affected in your finance sector with the eclipse. The opposition in both money sectors. And Mars in the eighth house will replenish a lot of missing energy for finance, and he's there way through October. So we'll get to him next month, and October is a better month for the financial replenishment that any of the opposition could have taken from you, or any of the eclipse energy of the 13th could have left from you or taken. And I like this because the Wheel of Fortune is luck. And Jupiter will remain in your eighth house for a year. So that's some replenished energy right there. Okay, Aquarius, thanks for joining me. My name is Audrey Alison. I'm wishing you a beautiful September, and I will see you next month.